Howdy, Simmers. I wouldn't consider myself to be a pro Sims 4 builder, but I have done a lot of building, and in the time that I've been doing this, I have learned a lot of tips and tricks to make building easier, but also to make my builds better. And today I want to share those tips and tricks with you. As the title says, this tutorial is for how to build in The Sims 4 on PC, so if you're looking for how to do any of the stuff on console, I'm sorry, I don't have the answers for you. I'm going to start with just a simple box, which I've already drawn out. But I want to add a light to the inside, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the T key, and that is going to take me to this top-down view, so that way I can add my light in a little easier. And when I want to go back into the other perspective, I just hit the T key again, and that just toggles between bird's eye and whatever this eye is. I don't remember what view level this is. But one of the important things about building is to make sure that you have wallpaper on your stuff. Otherwise, it just kind of looks weird with all the drywall. Now, a lot of people will just simply drag across the wall to paint it. But if you want to paint the whole room, my recommendation is to hit the Shift key, and that will paint every side of each room, and it works the same on the inside as well. Now, say we draw another box like this, and you want to paint the exterior of this as well. Once again, hitting Shift, it will paint that whole room, but you'll notice that it doesn't paint this side as well, and that is because these are considered two different rooms. So if you want to paint the whole exterior with one thing and just make it quick, all you have to do is delete that inner wall, and then it will count as a full room. And flooring works the same way. You just have to hit Shift and it adds flooring to the entire room. If you have an open concept situation in your build and you want to maybe separate like the kitchen from the living room, a good way to do that is just by adding a different flooring. But what I like to do to kind of spice up my stuff is by hitting Control F. You can toggle the quarter tiles on, and that allows you to do this kind of fun diagonal, and you can do this in any way you want. If you want to add some different flooring, you can do kind of a fun pattern as well with that. I don't use this technique very often because for me, it's just so much easier to do regular stuff. And if you want to go back to just using the full tile, you can hit Control F again, and that'll just toggle it back to the regular tiles. Next, I want to talk about roofing because this is easily the most difficult thing about building in The Sims 4. Now, if you have a simple house shape, the roofing isn't really that bad. But either way, we still kind of have some limited options for roofing. But you have these to make the roof a little more fun. And so you can make it round. You can do kind of an interesting curve. But if you hit Shift C, you get some more roofing options that give you a little bit more freedom with the shaping of the roof. And this allows you to do some fun curves and just a whole bunch of stuff that I don't typically touch because I'm a simple simpleton. I've gone ahead and put a front door and some windows on this house, but while I'm still on the exterior, I want to talk about freezes and exterior trim. If you have this when you're building where two different wallpapers kind of meet each other, a good thing to do to separate them is to use the exterior trim, and that will separate them completely. You'll have this little border, but you may notice that this is clipping through the front roof here. So a good way to prevent that is simply by holding Shift. It'll do it section by section that you hover over. So you can get it to come all the way around this back part here, and it won't clip through the front. I also like to add columns to kind of break stuff up a little bit. It makes the house look a little bit nicer, and I just put those on every corner of the house. You may run into an issue when you're trying to put columns up on the top level where it won't let you. So what you're going to do is open the cheat box using Control Shift C. You'll type in testing cheats true or testing cheats on, and then you'll do bb.move objects on, and then that will allow you to place things completely where you like, if I can line this up correctly. This can definitely be a little glitchy. As you can see, I am really struggling with getting this column placed. There we go. But with all the columns on, it should kind of look something like this, and it definitely makes the whole house look a lot better. You may also notice that when I'm typing, there's a little like screenshot message at the top. I have an exterior screenshot like camera thing, and it is tied to the letter C. So anytime that I type the letter C, it just automatically takes a screenshot of my game. So that's what that is, if you're wondering. Now, we've run into a situation on the interior where the room is just a little too small. And rather than making a bunch of adjustments to the size of the house and the room, what you can do is put stuff on a diagonal. It will make things maybe a little crowded, but sometimes it is necessary for things to actually fit. So what you could do is we'll do a little living room section just in this corner here. And using the left and right arrow keys that are also like the comma and period keys, you can rotate an object when you have it selected. And using Alt, you can drag this stuff around freely, and there we go. Now, I don't know if Alt actually works without move objects on, at least not perfectly, but if you don't have move objects on, it will say like intersecting with the walls or with another object. So just something to keep in mind. But with this in our corner here, we can add a little TV, and maybe we will get some chairs here. I like these ones. And once again, using our keys to rotate, we can turn our chairs like that. Another good thing to do with smaller spaces is to size down objects, and this can honestly come in handy even when you're not working with a small space. Say you have a rug that you really like and it ends up being way too big. You can use the left and right bracket keys to either size up an object or size down. So the left is going to be to size down, and that comes in handy when you're working with smaller spaces such as our living room. If you want to size up, use the right bracket key, and there is a limit, but you can make this fairly big if you want. I don't recommend it though. But for the purpose, we are going to size down this rug. We'll use our rotation stuff again. And we will just place this like right here in our little living room, and we will just do something like that. A good way to make a house feel lived in is by adding clutter, but as some of you may know, the slotting on some things in this game is very strange. So I have these shelves up here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this, I guess, olives jar, and I'm actually gonna go ahead and move the kitchen out of the way just so we can avoid doing some stuff here. And what I'm gonna do is I am going to use the 9 and the 0 keys to raise this item up. So 9 raises and then 0 lowers. And this is not going to be perfect by any means. I may actually end up sizing this down one. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. You may have to make some adjustments to the shelves as well, but this is a feature that actually exists in live mode, and I don't know if people know that it's in build mode or not, but you can use the tab button to hide all of your UI, and using Q and E you can raise the camera up and down, and this is a good way to see if an item that you have raised up is floating. And it actually looks like it's okay. It might be a little off, but I am gonna roll with it. If you're feeling even more limited in your choices, or you're looking for some cheaper options, there are actually some cheats that you can put in that will give you more items. I'd say the most useful one is bb.showHiddenObjects. And this gives you access to some items that are collectibles that you can find in the world, or some things that you can unlock and make during gameplay, such as these rugs that you can make through Nifty Knitting. And as you can see, all of these cost absolutely nothing. So that is a good way to get some cheap alternatives, and I'll just put that under my little dining space here. Another good cheat to know is after putting in bb.showHiddenObjects, if you put in bb.showLiveEditObjects, that gives you access to a catalog full of everything that exists in the world. So any kind of landscaping such as these bushes or some trees that don't exist in the normal build catalog. You can find all of that there, and a lot of other stuff such as these light poles. Something to keep in mind though with that is that your Sims will not treat these like normal objects, they will just walk right through them. The last thing is just typing in debug in the cheat box, and that will give you access to any kind of object that your Sims spawn while doing activities, such as the ingredients when your Sims are making a meal, or a drink glass when your Sims are doing like mixology stuff. And the reason I'm not showing you guys these cheats is because unless you have the Better Build By mod from, I believe, Twisted Mexi, that catalog is going to get so messy. It is not organized whatsoever, and it can be a little confusing, a little difficult to find things, and it can get super overwhelming, so I will not be doing that to myself. So basically, put in all those cheats at your own risk. The last thing that I want to show you is some people don't really like the grid showing, so what you can do is hit the G key, and that will completely remove the grid. I personally don't mind it. So if I want the grid to be back on, I just hit G again, and then I can see everything. It's not a big deal to me, but I do know it irritates some people, so if you're one of those people, I think you will very much like that key. And one more thing I do want to remind you guys of, with sizing things up and down, not everything will work. Things like the mirrors, if you try to size them down, it will do this kind of weird thing. And same if you try to size up. So unfortunately, that does not work for everything, but it does work for most things. And the same is said about windows. You can't size down or up windows without it causing some kind of issue. And with some light landscaping and a few extra things such as outdoor lighting, the house is done. And you're not ever obligated to, but I do always recommend playtesting your builds before you put them on the gallery. So I'm gonna go ahead and just have my sim, I guess, make a cucumber sandwich. Just to test our kitchen here. So we have our counter, the fridge works fine. And I don't know if they'll use the oven or not, but looks like that's good at least. So I'm gonna go ahead and have my sim clean that up. And then maybe I'll have him, I don't know, he can make some mac and cheese. So it looks like that is working fine. I'll get him to try to eat real quick, see if he can use this dining table. And it looks like he can. Maybe he'll take care of his dish in the correct sink. Yes. All right. Let's go ahead and empty the trash. Just make sure that he can get to the big one in the back. And he can. Can he access the bed at all? Looks like he can. And what about from the other side? Okay, he does at least scoot over. And what about this one? Yes, he can get out of that. Make sure to take a shower. And then maybe we'll have him take a bath. All right, he's good for that. He really needs to use the bathroom. All right, toilet's good. And then just make sure that sink is good. And there we go. House fully playtested. I'll go ahead and put this build on the gallery for you guys, and I'm gonna call it the tutorial house because we did build this during the tutorial. And yes, I am aware there is a top section that I completely did not furnish. You don't have to furnish every part of the build. You know, it could be treated as an attic or like a storage thing. If you'd like to download the build, it is available on my gallery page, TheSimmingKoalaa with 2 A's at the end. I always have it in the description for you guys if you ever want to download anything from me. I hope you all enjoyed the tutorial, and I hope you guys found it helpful if you are learning how to build on PC. Let me know in the comments if there is anything that I missed or maybe don't know about, and also let me know if you guys learned anything from this video. It would be much appreciated. And with that, I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel and make sure you have notifications on so you don't miss anything. Be sure to follow my socials, links are below. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.